Survivor just had its finale Wednesday night, and it had a former KENS 5 reporter, Savannah Louie, on the season. How did she do? Spoiler alert. So I'm a Survivor super fan. I've watched the game since I was a kid, and I work for KENS 5 now. And Savannah Louie, who's on the season, also used to work for KENS 5. So me and Sarah Fergani, our anchor, had an opportunity to interview her before the season started. Little did we know, we'd be talking to the winner of Survivor 49. That's right, Savannah Louie is the winner of Survivor 49, becoming the second KENS 5 alum to win the game of Survivor after Kim Spradlin won One World. Also in a final 3 of all women, I might add. So Savannah, the entire game, has been the main character in this game if you've been watching. Her and Rizzo have pretty much dictated everything that's been going on in the game. And it ultimately came down to the two of them in the final fire challenge. And Savannah came up on top. So for everyone who didn't watch, Savannah was a great physical and strategic and social threat at the very beginning of the game. I mean, she was making bonds. She was never really a target, and she did well in challenges. But as the merge kind of came about, that's when she started to really become a threat. Like, people were looking at her as like, we need to get her out. Like, she's good socially, she's good strategically, and she's good with challenges. Like, she's great at challenges, and we'll get to that later. Now, once Savannah found out about this is when she kind of shut down socially, I will say. She kind of stuck with her guns and Rizzo and Sophie, who became her trio, becoming one of the, in my opinion, one of the best trios in Survivor history, I'll say, as they dictated a lot of the votes and pretty much always on the same page other than the final kind of episode. So Savannah goes on an immunity run. She knows she needs to win as many challenges as possible because she knows that she's a threat. She knows that they're going to be voting her out. So she goes on an immunity run where she wins 4 immunity challenges, tied for the most immunity challenges for a female on Survivor, which is crazy. She joins some big names. And she had an opportunity to win her 5th and break the record, but she didn't. She lost to Sophie, who's also one of my favorites on the season and one of her biggest allies. She loses to Sophie in the Final 4 challenge, which means that, okay, in Survivor, how it works in the Final 4 is that the winner of the Final 4 challenge is moving on to the Final 3. And they have to choose 2 people to go in a fire-making contest. One of the biggest and most important things in Survivor is making fire. They choose one of these 2 to go to fire. Whoever makes the fire first moves on, and whoever doesn't is voted out. Or not voted out, but taken out. So then you get your Final 3. So Savannah, she's telling us, I'm stuck at fire. Like, I'm not going to do good at fire. Like, you know, all that. And Sophie, even though she was like Savannah's #1 ally, she knew she needed to make a move. So she's like, okay, I can't bring Savannah. I'm definitely going to lose. I'm going to put her in fire. So she puts her in fire next to the other biggest threat of the season, which is Rizzo. Rizzo has had an immunity idol the entire season. He hasn't had to use it up until literally the last time he could use it. Like, he's used it as a weapon, and is one of the best ways of using an idol that everyone knew about ever, in my opinion. So it's Savannah versus Rizzo, and whoever wins this, in my opinion, wins the game. So Savannah knew she needed to win, and she did just that. She told us that she sucked at fire and she had no confidence. I knew you were playing mind games. I knew you were playing mind games. I knew you knew what you were doing. She absolutely dominates Rizzo in the fire-making challenge and moves on to the Final 3 against Sophie and Sage. Now, Sage, I hadn't mentioned her yet. Sage and Savannah were kind of at each other's throats pretty much all game. They started off in the same tribe. And Sage wanted Savannah out from the very beginning. She knew that she was a threat. And now they're in the Final 3 together. So Savannah is going against Sage, going against Sophie in the Final 3. The jury, which is how Survivor works, if you're new to Survivor, the jury dictates who wins the game. The jury questions the Final 3, and they vote who they think deserves to win the season. And on paper, Savannah should win this easily because she's won all the challenges. She's been a big strategic threat, but sometimes that doesn't matter. Sometimes, you know, it's more the story. It's more of like what you've accomplished and all that. The thing that stood out to me about this final tribal council is Christina, who's been at Savannah's throat this entire game. They've had a hate relationship. Let's just say that. She asked Savannah, hey, I think your social game was trash. I want you to name a family member of each person on the jury. And Savannah couldn't do that. She couldn't do that. She named maybe 2 or 3 people on the jury's family members. And I thought that was where, like, oh, that might have done it. But it didn't, because Savannah ended up getting 6 of the 9 votes to win Survivor 49. And I might be biased because I interviewed her and she's now my friend, but I think she played a really good game. My only issue is that she had to win challenges in order to secure herself in the game, and if she would have lost in one of those challenges, she might have gone home. But that's playing what if, you know. The thing is, she did win the challenges when she needed to. She didn't like give into the pressure at all, and then she won a fire contest to win the game. So that's everything you need to know about Survivor this season. Shout out to Savannah for winning Survivor 49, which is still crazy to say. Who would have thought that a few months ago when me and Sarah were interviewing her that would be the winner of Survivor 49. Shout out to Savannah. Maybe there's more KENS 5 alum on Survivor in the future. I'm looking at you, Jeff Probes. I know you see this on my head right now.